Welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Chat podcast of the Minnesota Vikings Chat.com blog. And I am David Erickson, your host, with Rick Birmingham in Minneapolis. How you doing, Rick?
Very well.
Very good. And we're talking NFL draft and receivers, part two. We did the top 5 receivers last week, and we're going to continue that because the Vikings have a glaring need for receivers, so they're likely to take one, if not more, receivers in this draft. And last week we touched a little bit on Robert Woods. Rick, you want to refresh and tell me what you liked about Robert Woods, USC receiver?
Gopher fans are torn. You know, does he just play really well in Minnesota, or do we hate him because he beat the Gophers? Though I don't know that that's any great accomplishment. He had a kick return for a touchdown when he was with USC, and he had 17 catches against the Gophers, which is painful. But he's a track guy, and since Robert Smith, we love track guys. Big time kick returner, 6 foot, 200 pounds. You know, he ran a 4.51 40. Which is great. It's not Trayvon's 4.3, so we're definitely in the second group of guys. But you know, he had more than 100 catches one year, and I think that was his junior year, and then his senior year he had 75 or 76 catches, which is great. But he's probably a guy that's more long speed or high speed than he is quick or elusive. So I don't know that he'll end up to be Percy Harvin of kick returners, which is what, of course, we're going to be wishing we had for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a chance to look at some of his highlights, and a lot of the analysis of him. One of the consistent things that people said is he's accomplished. So he's had a lot of experience, as you pointed out. He's sort of a complete and polished receiver as you can get coming into the NFL as a rookie. Runs very good routes. Knows how to use his body to shield defenders from the ball. They run a lot of bubble screens, so the types of routes that we'd be running. And he can break some tackles, so you know he's a big, strong receiver. So, you know, if you're not looking for the flash and dash, and you need somebody who's consistent, ready to contribute on day one, it's probably a good choice.
And he's probably in the second group because he had an ankle injury that was pretty significant, and he wasn't as productive after it, although he was still very productive. But.